Ya, bienvenido a la ¿qué?
La Gran Tertulia.
Ey, Gran Tertulia, ya. Gran Tertulia,
Contenido interesante para gente interesante.
Ya.
Como tú. ¿Qué está pasando, corillo? Bienvenidos sean todos a la Gran Tertulia. Conversaciones interesantes para gente interesante como tú. Que me estás viendo o me estás escuchando a través de YouTube o Spotify. Este episodio es traído gracias a ustedes por el mejor internet de Puerto Rico, Aeronet. Ese es el internet que te permite bajar una película pirateada mientras ves un video, mientras hablas con tu novia, mientras estás jugando PlayStation, mientras estás hablando con tu pai también.
Wow, todo eso, amigo, a la vez.
Todo eso a la vez, Blanqui.
¿Y qué tipo de video te deja ver mientras tú haces todo eso?
Oh, el tipo de video que tú quieras ver. Gracias a Aeronet por que hacer que este episodio sea posible. Yo soy el gran Edwin Colón, muy bien acompañado de mi gran amigo, el Blanky Boy.
Papi, dímelo, cra. Papi, tenemos un nuevo flow. No lo capen, papi. Oye, ni hasta John Chini se quiere copiar de mí, nada más digo.
Fuletazo
Para toda esa gente copiona, la sociedad copiona, esos albinos que no son yo, no son los originales albinos. Oye, muchas gracias por otro día más de vida, Dios, y otro día más de episodio contigo, mi Santino. Este es mi nuevo flow para taparme del sol, porque el sol está cabronauta, baby boo.
La gente que piensa que es un relajo, pero es para que Blanky Boy pueda sobrevivir este sol cabrón. Y cabrón.
Hacho, ustedes se creen que es mentira, cabrones, pero si yo no duro a los 40 voy a morir como leyenda. Ahí está.
Claro, cabrón. Yo espero que dure 60, 80, 1000 años, por favor, porque tú eres una pieza clave para este podcast.
Ahí está. Y si no estoy yo, no hay view.
Eso
en tu cara, Edwin.
No, cabrón, de una te lo creo, cabrón.
No, eso es embuste, papi. Esto es un teamwork, bitch.
Corillo, hoy va a ser un episodio distinto. Hoy va a ser un episodio... El primer episodio en Spanglish.
Spanglish, baby boo.
Tenemos un invitado directamente de los New York. Un comediante que está aquí en Puerto Rico y tuvimos que aprovechar y traerlo al podcast para conversar un poco con él.
Y ese hombre ya es de la familia, your family, bro, you know. We're now you're getting the flow. Okay.
No nos entiende, yo creo que nos entiende todo lo que hemos hablado. Sí. Vamos a darle una cálida bienvenida a Jonathan James Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
What's up?
Thank you for coming from Aguadilla, Jonathan.
Right, word. No problem. I'm so happy to be here.
No, we appreciate you, man. Your time being here too. This is our first podcast doing in English.
Yeah.
So I hope that everybody, gets it, flow with us. And you said that you were from New York, right?
See.
See? Okay.
The Bronx, New York.
Oof,
I was telling
boy.
Jonathan before we went on air that I've said this before that I went to New York one time. For me, it was like being in a movie, because some of my favorite movies have been filmed there, like Goodfellas, Spider-Man, pretty much almost every Scorsese movie.
Right, word.
But I went to Manhattan, Brooklyn, pretty much everywhere except the Bronx. Why are people like scared of the Bronx?
I guess it's because it's one of the most cultural places.
Okay.
And that's where that's like the ground zero of culture in New York, I feel, is the Bronx. A lot of places are more for the tourists or more for the people who are viewing it, but the Bronx is for like the people who are living it, I feel.
Okay.
So like if you want to know exactly what it's really like in New York, I'd say go to the Bronx.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you were born and raised there?
See.
Okay.
Right, in the Bronx.
So you come from a Puerto Rican mother and a black father.
See.
Can you tell us a little bit? We know that you have rapped, you do comedy, you also do theater, you have done wrote and directed a play. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and what made you want to do art?
So I grew up with only my mom. in the Bronx. There was a lot of opportunities, like the Boys and Girls Clubs and after school and things like that. So having, thankfully, that Boys and Girls Club by my house was really it, because from there it went to swimming, to art. They had dance there, and I had met someone in the locker room, and he was, you know, drumming on a drum pad, and I told him, like, I always thought drums were cool. I'd like to take part in it, and he told me to come, you know, on certain days, and I came, and from there it became like music. I was like 10 years old, and then through learning music there, we would get small opportunities to like play in a movie. Like if a movie needed, you know, something, they would contact us. So then I started to see like, wow, like things could, you know, I could do other things, and from that it just became like, how many things can I do? And I've just been going crazy, like,
nice,
through life.
That's where like you get your you're always doing something, you know.
Yeah.
In this industry you cannot stop. Like you cannot like look for a comfort zone. So I'm do like a minimum wage and do my life and stuff. No, you're always doing like something different. Some business are doing good, some business are gonna be, you know, a little bit low, but you take like a lesson from it always, right?
I do, but I'm always terrified.
I know that's
I
the
feel
normal
like-
part. Yeah.
I feel like people who do have one thing, you know, that they enjoy and that they're passionate about, like I feel like they have it better. Like,
Yeah.
because it's just that. I love those people. Like when they just love what they do, and that's it.
I kind of like I don't want to say envy, but I envy them, because those people are so determined in that single thing that they do it so well, and almost all the time they have a lot of éxito, a lot of puñeta.
Yeah, a lot of like coño.
And look, like New York is so important in culture, like hip hop. Was born in New York. The salsa too, if I'm not mistaken. So New York is like a pretty significant place in culture, music. There's Broadway over there too.
Yeah. All of those things, like I'm so grateful in being, you know, from there, but there was still things that I felt like I was missing in being in New York. Like it was a lot of getting to see different cultures, but not like necessarily having one of your own. Everything is something you've created out there. And like Puerto Rico is something where it's like everyone is like that culture. And I found that cool. And when you come from like a mixed family, you know what I'm saying? Like my dad, you know, we don't know where we come from. Like there's no real, we just know America, you know, somewhere. We're just here. So to see some type of homeland was like very intriguing.
That type of feeling was the thing that made you want to move over to Puerto Rico?
I actually didn't really feel Puerto Rican most of my life. Because my name is Jonathan James Rodriguez, but they would call me Jonathan Rodriguez. And in elementary school, there was 4 other kids named Jonathan Rodriguez. And those other kids had, you know, they had different hair. They all spoke Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like they were Jonathan Rodriguez. You know what I mean? And I was just a kid with a name like them. So I didn't really get that, you know, where I came from, especially not speaking the language.
Okay. But
so it wasn't until later that I tried to like learn.
Is James your second name or your first?
My middle name.
Oh, it's your middle name.
It's my middle name. Yeah, I know out here they have like the last name of the dad and the last name.
Yeah, they have those last names.
No, and that's what people started to assume
Yeah.
when I said it. And I guess it kind of plays into having a different, you know, being multicultural. So I guess the James Rodriguez.
And James is like, it's a first name, but it's also a last name.
It is, yeah. I thought that was really
And
cool.
a middle name.
And your name is like an actor's name. If you see it.
If you say all of it, so I always stress to say the whole thing as opposed to Jonathan Rodriguez, because then you get lost in all the other Jonathan Rodriguez.
Tell the story again and again. Man, on culture, but you know.
So
that's awesome.
You were like in a like you were in a moment of like looking for like learning about yourself, like knowing yourself.
Yeah. I didn't grow up with my dad.
Okay.
So I was searching for him, and also trying to find more of my history. I did the ancestry, you know what I'm saying? Like,
awesome. And what person are you mostly?
Spain, Portuguese.
Yeah.
I have like 7% Taino.
What?
And
I haven't taken one of those tests. It's interesting.
man.
I think I'm like 90% Spaniard.
and Cameroon in Africa.
Cameroon, Africa.
Cameroon, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So-
You have like a
Right. So I started to like
Wow.
really look into more about Puerto Rico, and when I learned about the gag law, and you know what I'm saying, what they were trying to do to whitewash Puerto Rico, it made me seem less like an outsider, but more like a continuation of something, like a future of something. You know what I mean? Because like those people, they taught their kids English so they could survive in America. You know what I mean? Like they did that shit, and they prayed that their kids would be able to speak English to survive. You know what I mean?
Man, I feel like that because I'm a little bit worried. I love my cousin, and I have like a new cousin. He's Jordan. And his dad and his wife moved to Ohio. So when I see the recent videos in my group chat family, I always see him talking like in English.
Yeah.
And he's got a perfect English, but I identify that because I feel like, damn, he's not gonna speak like too much Spanish, you know,
Right.
or gonna feel like, hey, I wanna see always Puerto Rico, but they always, you know, they always been outside in Ohio, so they come in December or in summer, you know, to keep up in Puerto Rico, but it's a little bit hard to see to know that my cousin is not gonna like speak too much Spanish, you know. So that's I admire that about you, because you're looking about your culture, yourself,
Right.
you know. In life you have to like follow yourself, your inner self. To become someone in life, you know. That's an admiring part, man.
I can relate to the language part a little bit because my parents don't know English, but they made me learn English so I could have better opportunities.
Yeah.
I learned English by watching cartoons and playing video games. And to this day, I prefer English over Spanish because it's more easier to read hear. My phone is in English. Pretty much every movie, everything I hear is in English. But being bilingual has its benefits, definitely, and more here in Puerto Rico.
I couldn't even benefit from, like, I would sometimes try to use my last name to get jobs and stuff like that, but like I didn't speak 2 languages. Like I felt like it was just like so fraudulent in me having, you know what I mean, Rodriguez as my last name and like being Puerto Rican or claiming it. It wasn't until I started to like really learn that it made me more like feel like I was
awesome.
And it made me want to learn the language. Like right now my phone's in Spanish. Everything is so like
that's cool. That way you're forced to learn to get adapted, you know.
And how's your Spanish, you know, like fluent or medium?
When I'm in like complete, when it's a necessity, I can speak it.
Okay.
But if I have the ability to question myself or like feel scared or something, then I won't.
Aguadilla is a nice place to get the hang of it, because in Aguadilla there's people speak a lot of both languages, English and Spanish. Have you learned more about Puerto Rico's history? Like, for example, I've read a book. I recommend it to you. Have you read it? It's called War Against All Puerto Ricans.
Yeah, that was one of the first couple of books that I found.
It's a really revealing book.
It's what go ahead.
Go ahead. My bad.
It's what inspired me to start like finding out about my history and start writing. I started writing a
Awesome.
TV show from like that book, and that later turned into the play that I had wrote. So that book was really important to me. I met the writer. He's a good guy, Dennis.
No, awesome.
It was Emma and Adam. What's it called?
Evelyn and Adam. That's another play, but I had wrote a play called Salon Boricua.
Oh, yeah.
And that is like doing interviews and getting information. That's what started me like flying back and forth to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Because I didn't start coming out here till the pandemic, really.
Oh, so you spent pandemic in New York?
Yeah. I was
How was it like?
Yeah, because I remember the pictures of all the streets being hella empty.
How you survive it?
I was actually I got a job at in the morgue.
Oh shit!
You remember those people in the white suits that were like, in the fridge trucks and all that?
Yeah,
that was me.
Damn.
What?
And we did that for like $40 an hour.
What?
I know, and
But that must have been like a haunting experience, right?
it was weird. It didn't seem real because all the streets were closed in New York.
Yeah.
I told you I was longboarding.
Yeah.
I would longboard in the middle of the street to work random times. Like the world just, I don't know. Everything was
weird.
dead pretty much in New York. Yeah, it was a wild time.
Damn.
And that's when I signed up for school and started writing a play and stuff.
You've been doing theater for some time?
Yeah, about like 6 years.
Nice.
I started acting in theater. I didn't want to continue doing music. I felt like it was changing, and I wanted to stay on the stage. The whole thing was staying on a stage. That's where I feel most comfortable. So from music, it went to theater. It was memorizing. It was performing something and making it sound like it was written. You know what I mean? Or that it's coming through, you know what I mean, as the first time. Like, it was that. And that inspired me to try to write for it and things like that. And the less time I had to myself, the more I tried to find other ways that I can get on stage. And I didn't want to do poetry. You know what I mean? I didn't want to so I was like, how else can I get on a stage and
do something,
express myself when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm, you know what I mean? Like all of these different emotions. And comedy was something that was always in my head, but I was always too afraid to do.
What made you want to try it?
I was sad one weekend, cause I'm a dad.
Okay.
And my son had did something that made me sad, and I just wanted to roast him somewhere. So I little punk, come here, little piece of shit. So I went to an open mic and I just spoke about how like pissed I was, and people understood, and it was like. It was shorter than writing a play. It was shorter than, you know what I'm saying? Like
all that work
song,
at once, you know?
And it just can't. I'm like, I have to use all this information. Because I grew up watching comedy. You guys grew up watching comedy. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't think you'd do it. Like, it was just something that, like...
Yeah, because it's... I could say, if I could say, like, Chente inspired me to do comedy, and... I have like improv coach, and he's the one who pushed me like doing in comedy, because he showed me a little bit of improv theater, but he pushed me through. Hey, Eric Bonilla is doing like an open mic, and you have to go. So what you waiting for, little pussy? That's the moment that I like took a chance and started like doing comedy, and since then that first day I like have keeping it a little bit of continuation, but yeah,
I also find it interesting. You said that you were in a sad moment when you wanted to start comedy. I've encountered a lot of comedians, myself included, that they started doing comedy in a sad moment, like an angry moment.
Yeah.
In my case, I had broken up with my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I spent months like, just like broken, like what the fuck am I gonna do? I haven't had an audition. I don't know if my rapping is good. I don't know what to do. And one time I was walking through Rio Piedras, and there it all started. But it all started from like a sad moment, like, what the fuck am I gonna do now? I don't know how the fuck I feel,
And that was the first time that I saw him. He was like a little kid.
Man,
his first day, and everybody was silent, and everybody was looking at him, and I could hear his breathing. He was like,
I was
working.
I was high and drunk, and I was seeing the comedians, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and I just started talking about my day.
Yeah.
It was a really shitty day.
Man, nobody laughed. Everybody starts rough, but bro,
oh man,
but it was funny. It was funny.
Thankfully, I haven't had a rough like.
Have you had rough times?
Yeah. No, I feel like my comedy isn't one where I look for the laugh.
It's more like educating your audience.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of us. Not even educating them, but us like experiencing something together.
Okay, that's awesome. Like,
because there's comedians who like go for laughs, and I feel like those comedians are great. They definitely go to TV. Like, you know what I mean? It's always a quick rise for them. But I feel like the connecting with people is always like deeper to me.
Isn't the trick not like going for the laugh, but not making it look like you're going for the laugh?
Yes. But no, because some laughs come in so many different places.
Yeah.
With different crowds, like you never know where it's at. So it's like, I feel like the more intriguing the story is, people would laugh wherever it is.
Yeah.
And if you do like a good performance, even if they didn't laugh, but the way that you connect with the people makes it special, because I have seen like open mics that people connect even though they didn't laugh, but they could say like, hey man, I identify, or it was a good set because they identify at your story.
There's occasions like you're not even on the punchline, you just make a face or something,
right? Yeah,
and people are cracking up. It's like magic.
That's very true.
No, but that's awesome, man. And how many like clubs have you gone in United States? Like,
I did a lot of shows in New York when I first started. Thankfully I was in New York, and that was big for comedy. So I was just at everything. I was doing maybe like at least 2 shows a day or 2, you know what I mean? Or mics, 2 mics a day.
How's the comedy scene in New York in comparison to here in Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
I would say I don't know shit, but I would say like they have a lot of clubs there. I would say like there's more movement. It's more developed maybe.
What is cool is, I'm sure you guys. No, I don't even think so. But because there's so many different areas, you could try different crowds and like get different reactions to certain jokes. And those comedians kind of stay in those areas. it's rare that you see them like venture out.
So to pretty much stick to their own place.
Like you could, like when you go to like Brooklyn and you hear the Brooklyn comics and they tell the Brooklyn jokes and it sounds like that. Like I was someone who was just hitting everywhere, and if I could make these people laugh in different places, then maybe I could venture out. And then I started doing shows in Virginia. That was my first like outside of New York show.
I think that's the best way to having a better set and better understanding of what you want to do and shit, because if you stick to the same place over and over and over, you can't learn more
at all. And I see comics bomb because they're telling their joke to people that don't know
or your culture or
so
don't know. Or
nice.
So my thing was to always make content that it didn't matter where you were from.
And how have you found the Puerto Rican public comedy-wise,
It's surprisingly going well so far. I didn't expect it because I know, Puerto Rico to be very, about themselves and very
prideful?
Prideful. So they don't want somebody to come out and make fun and stuff like that. But thankfully, all my things were.
It's stuff people can relate to.
Yeah.
Because I know you have this joke about when you knew you got to know a Puerto Rican girl and the language and the sound.
Yeah.
We're from here. We can relate to that because it's like you know it's
life,
shit that yeah.
It's things that you don't get to see from there, and that was something that was big for me. I wanted to make Puerto Rico the topic and not the target. I know I had mentioned this before. Comedians, sometimes they are aware of it and sometimes they aren't. There's a difference between a topic and a target.
Yeah.
And I wanted all my things, the topic to be around Puerto Rico and my understanding of it and viewing, as opposed to it being the target and just like making jokes, making fun.
Yeah.
Because I always, there's some comedians that I have some from outside that have came to stand-uperos and have came into Rio Piedra. And they always, like, I have seen them, they always, like, talk about their experience in Puerto Rico and the language that they don't understand. That I think that's the funny part about what we're looking at. How has it been, or what you like most about it. And I have seen that the comedians like talk about their experience, and I have seen others that do their joke, their normal routine from outside, and they come with their routine and then bomb a little bit. But I have seen it and the comparison and it's very, you have to know a little bit, Puerto Ricans. Same outside, but...
Yeah.
A lot of us have jokes, myself included, about the different municipalities, I think is the word. Because we have like 78, and like, for example, there's always a joke about... Moca or Calle, those places, like not a lot of people go there, so it usually goes like, those people, they're animals, or
they're stealing their horses.
They're from their cousins, that type of shit. Which is true, but it's like la vieja confiable.
Literal, en verdad. And I have seen like I had one time in Mande I have told some gringos tourists that
I wanna quiero aclarar esto. Is gringo? No, it's like, is it offensive? It's like
in America, no. To me, not really. I know in some forms it's towards white people, but sometimes you hear it towards just people who don't understand Spanish.
Or tourists, because I said it in the sentence like for tourists and stuff, but he's
sometimes I'm even referred to as gringo, so.
And I think it's the way you said it. The way you say it too, because it's not to say like, I don't know, this gringo, this fucking gringo, you know, like
Yeah. Because at work, I work at San Juan, and I was attending a client, and when I was explaining the situation to my coworker, I said gringo, and the person looked at me like very seriously.
yeah, not a lot of people take it like, you know,
They think we're like offending all.
for me it's like I don't know, like saying like cabrón, you know.
These are also not office words.
Yeah. None of them. But I'm gonna be honest. The gringo counterpart is speak. Like,
Oh, okay.
I find that like I think
we
that
don't use that word.
yeah. Like if someone says speak to me, like I'm like, what the fuck? Like I
Right.
think that comes from a place from more hatred
Yeah.
than funny. You know. It's that I think there's something different there in those words.
Sometimes I play to my misunderstanding of you know, I play to, you know, being the gringo of learning and stuff like that. I feel like it helps to, you know, address the elephant in the room type.
Yeah.
But it's hard to write jokes out here because of that. Like I want to make all my content not only hit hard but also be like here, and I'm also learning it, and it's in a whole nother language, so it's very like
Have you seen like the old comedies? Like, have you known like Luis Raúl?
I have no clue of any Puerto Rican comedians.
If you see or study those comedians, you're gonna get Puerto Rico. O sea, you're gonna understand the humor of Puerto Rico, because like Luis Raúl is the legend of comedy here.
He speaks perdóname por interrumpirte,
tranquilo.
a lot of the things they speak in their routines are a lot of things that still resonate to this day.
Yeah.
Like stuff about the government,
Wow,
stuff
so
about
it's
Puerto
classic,
Rico.
yeah.
The environment stuff, the Sahara, the Sahara dust,
Sahara, desierto, los polvos de Sahara.
the desert Saharas, sand,
Yeah.
always
Sandstone
pass
shut
through here. Yeah. And he always, like, I saw recently the one of his last shows, and still today that joke is still like transcendent.
Yeah.
You know, it's still talked about. So if you study those comedians like Luis Raúl, tell me another one.
Raymond Arrieta,
Raymond,
Don Chorizo.
Don
Pero esos son
Chorizo.
ya way back.
That's like old comedy, but
Yeah.
that's like history comedy. If you like get that humor,
Gente.
Chente is another one. He's the top podcasters in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
If you Chente, it's like gives you an update on how Puerto Rico is on the internet. You know, and Molusco. Those two are like the top two, but I'm more like Team Chente.
Yeah. You know about them, like Molusco?
Have you heard about
Chente?
them? Or?
No, I feel the only Puerto Rican comedian or comedy that I know of, I feel like is John Leguizamo. And I know even that is has an asterisk on, you know what I mean, on where he comes from or whatever. But that was like the most that I got to see of myself being in New York, you know, on stage, my culture, my living room, you know what I mean?
Awesome.
Have you tried? Have you wrote anything in Spanish, or have you tried any material in Spanish?
Yeah, I had one or two jokes in Spanish. I'm starting to write more. At least I'm adding more words into it and more play on words.
Okay.
Into my routine, and I hope to at least at some point have at least 1 minute of.
Are you planning to stay in Puerto Rico for a long time, or?
Yeah, I want to.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's no family here that I have, so I want to be that for the future. And it seems like if I'm gonna live anywhere, like, why not here?
And it's a nice place, and especially the west side where you're currently living. You know, Aguadilla, Isabela, Rincón have a lot of nice beaches over there.
You know, I haven't been to Rincón. I refuse to go to Rincón.
Really?
Really?
Yep.
Why?
I don't want to be there because I hear so much.
Oh wow!
I hear so much about
They call it Gringolandia.
I don't even want someone to see me there, and you know, and just be able to take a picture of me, or you know what I mean. I don't even want to be seen there.
James live from Rincón.
Yeah, I just refuse. Unless it's like a revolution and we all go in there, I'm not going in there. Yeah, I don't want to. But I hear it's like beautiful over
Here's
there.
another one.
It really is. A lot of Americans and people from other parts of the world have made Rincón their residence.
Yeah.
And a lot of businesses and a lot of other things are now American owned in Rincón. So that's why like el vacilón of they only speak English in Rincón.
Yeah.
$50 for this empanadilla?
yeah, that type of thing.
No, they call it like gringolada because, you know, but you can go through the beaches.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Public. But yeah, it's
like Isabela, but less dirty.
Yeah.
yeah. That's how I can best describe it. Pretty much.
The best thing about it is that you have the beaches nearby always. You know, you always have like a tropical experience if you want to go through something fun.
And it's
know?
definitely more calm and peaceful than in the metropolitan area here.
Yeah. Part of me, like in the beginning, I wanted to like live in San Juan and be in that area, but it's too much. Like it's not like New York, but it's too much.
Yeah,
it's the New York part of here.
Yeah, and I feel like I wanted to be in Puerto Rico. Like I plan to like get a horse maybe. Like, like just live that way.
Nice.
No, that's awesome. That's like you're getting into the culture like very deeply, you know.
Yeah.
We always looking for, you know, peace or an Airbnb sometimes that it separates.
Secluded, yeah.
Yeah, you from the metropole, you know, it's peaceful, you know, and we glad that you like you're looking for your identity, you know, and your culture, because Puerto Rico, we always like consider everybody family, you know. We consider you for the family comedy, you know.
Right. And I am so grateful for how, you know, accepting and cared for I have been in being here. And I just wanted to like thank, you know, you guys while I have the opportunity and like right word welcoming me in my first like podcast and stuff like that, because even in the States I haven't done a comedy podcast, so this is like my first podcast as well.
Fuck yeah, blast to that, bro.
It means so much to me.
No, you make something new. You're making something new, and you like if you have like any question to us, since you write scripts and sketches and theater, you know, you can go.
I definitely like. I feel like I don't see more Puerto Rico in New York, and in New York we love Puerto Rico. Like
there's the parade.
That shit is everywhere out there, but I don't see much of this island there. And like my goal, especially with the comedy, is to try to connect and with my creating in theater with all of my artists, to like connect New York and
bring like the Latino community together and stuff.
Right, yeah.
That's a freaking awesome mission, you know. That's a big move. So man, I hope you do it and reach your goal.
Right.
After moving out here, learning about the culture, learning about stuff like the gag law and pretty much the history of the U.S. Over here, what's your opinion of the U.S. and Puerto Rico and its current situation?
Oh man, this conversation was a topic that I'd bring up a lot when I was shooting my documentary.
It's a lot of shocking information when you study the whole history and what has happened and shit.
It's just, I feel that independence for Puerto Rico would be like grand, but they'd have to be a way for America to like cut a check someone.
Yeah, that's why we don't like.
That's what's keeping a lot of things from happening. I have had I've been like hearing different ideas and ways this could work and that could work, and I've always said something that people haven't I guess agreed with or understood, I guess, from my perspective, is to sell one of the small islands.
I wouldn't have a problem if they sold Vieques and Culeras. And you're pretty much fucked anyways.
Right, like, and I understand, like, if because that's really all the U.S. wants, is some place where they could reach.
And do you know the story of Vieques?
Yeah, I've heard, but you know, if there's a certain piece you want to tell me about.
No.
Yeah,
overall,
they have nothing. Yeah, from the testing to them still being left with nothing. Like,
yeah.
It just seems like if there can be a way that we could just sell Vieques for, like, you know, and absorb, you know, outrageous amount of money just to start that.
But they pretty much but I think they pretty much like exploited all these islands already,
and it's just the business. But I see so much resilience and opportunity and business, just like in the people on the sides of the road. Like, I see no way that Puerto Rico can't take care of itself on its own. Like, it's just so.
Yeah, it's a really complicated topic. There are people that want independence. Other people that think that Puerto Rico should be a state.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like angles to this, but it's and if you go back from before the U.S. Invaded Puerto Rico, you have the history with Spaniards.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's pretty much the same story. You know, but with other people. Like, the Spaniards conquered us, then came the Americans and shit, and blah, blah, blah. And here we are today.
You know your history.
Yeah. More or less.
Right.
But mostly, I think the economy is moved by the fast food industry. Because you see it everywhere. There's Burger King, McDonald's, Walgreens.
There's like 3 Walgreens for each pueblo, for each municipality.
If all that industry goes away and we get independence, we don't have like many locals, I
don't think we would have like the capacity, would we? Like,
not much, because everything in Puerto Rico, it's imported and it's mostly imported, and we don't export anything, like not even the sugar, the coffee, nothing. So if we have independence, like, we have to make our own money, our own currency. We can like associate with other
countries.
Western countries. I don't know, but
it's interesting because
it's really hard.
We don't export these things, but we do export music or movies.
Right.
Like I said before, reggaeton.
Very true.
Salsa. Like, reggaeton artists are so big around the world right now. Bad Bunny, Raúl Alejandro.
Yeah, but what they can do on the economy, the tourists can come and stuff, but so if the whole industry goes away, what do we have? That they fucked up all our economy, so that we can like depend obligated on USA. Because we don't make our own tomatoes, we don't ¿cómo se dice? Sembrar, se me olvidó.
We don't plant, we don't
seeds,
but you guys, but there's so much ability to. I've seen fields of just, plátanos being grown like
A lot of them are owned by people that
somewhere else.
yeah, from Americans or even people from parts of South America.
I have a question. Who is the like, I guess, the underdog in becoming like the top political person in Puerto Rico?
But when you say underdog, you mean like in a good, impactful way, or
in more of an independence way? Like, who's the because I hear a lot about the problems. I hear a lot about, what we want to change here. But is there a person?
When you say underdog, the person that comes to mind is Eliezer Molina.
I was thinking about it.
Eliezer Molina is
a journalist.
No, he
was like a political. He was running for a politician area.
He was a political candidate running for the position of governor in the last election. But honestly, he just wanted to speak out and let himself be known. He speaks a lot of problems that are currently happening over here. He spends a lot of time, out there doing lives about shit that's going down. A lot of people criticize him because they say he's
a little bit extreme.
I agree that he can be a little bit extra, but he does speak out for a lot of the problems and a lot of stuff that.
That it's a little bit how do I say it? Because one time the crew of Eliezer Molina
Lo de Rincón.
They ¿cómo se dice? They turned down
there was there was a I'm gonna be missing out some details in the story, but it was in Rincón. There's a hotel that's near the beach, and it wanted to make a pool near the beach, between the hotel and between the beach.
I think I seen this on Instagram.
And and Eliezer Molina was one of the people that was out there protesting against this illegal construction. It was illegal. But there's some stuff that happened there that they say that like, I heard the story that Eliezer Molina hired someone with a digger to pretty much fuck up the construction. But then the police arrested the person with the digger, and Eliezer Molina didn't show up or do shit. So, but this is just like stories.
Okay.
But
he's very
active.
Controversial. But he's like the voice from our public,
The way I see how completely outrageous it is with this guy Trump, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if people, the way the culture is now, how you'll see something silly on the internet and it'll be the most shared thing. All of a sudden, this person's on TV, the star of movies.
Bro, any influencer can be a president nowadays.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like there just has to become a crazy obsession over someone, and that become
besides Eliezer, an underdog or someone with a positive influence politically, it's hard to think about. Plus, all of these politicians over here, self-centered. They all do things for their own interest,
and that sucks big time. Because there's no the voting situation. The most we can do in the States is hear what you guys are saying and vote to try to help what's going on. But over here, things need to be set up for that alley-oop. You know what I mean?
We can't even vote for a president over there. We have la comisionada residente. I think it's said in English. It's like
a commissioner.
Residence commissioner.
But she doesn't have a vote or saying anything either. She's just there for representation,
protesting or telling,
eating donuts,
or doing shit. Because the political in here is fucked up. I have seen in here you vote in schools, and each school has their own campaign because in schools in Bayamon I saw like everybody with a blue shirt and blue t-shirt. It's PNP,
Right.
the candidates from PNP, and other schools have all reds. You know, that's a little controversial because it like can get like manipulate the votes. You know,
children.
it's pretty fucked up in here, the system. So when I started like voting, I have like a good positive vibes that I could like have a change if I voted, but it doesn't like feel that way because the same people are still winning. The PNPs that we hate them, and the PPDs that we mostly hate them too. You know, and the independents people, we say that they're crazy or you know, but I feel them because they're like protesting when everybody isn't, you know. That's why I admire a little bit the independence people. But in the reality, it's very difficult because if we go now independence, we have to start from zero, you know.
I would wish. I'm not sure if I want to see like Puerto Rico independent or as a state, but I sure as hell don't want to see like the way it is now. That's like it's not one or the other. It's just like it's like a colony. You know, like we're still exploited. But it's 2023. Next year is gonna be election year. So.
Yeah, and they're fixing everything, the streets, the things that the people wanted. They're doing it right. You're gonna see it. They're gonna do it right now because the voting is coming. You know, the
most streets get fixed when it's election time.
You're gonna see it. That's why if you see the Expresso, you're gonna see every construction site that there's what fucked up. They're constructing it, they're fixing it, but in 1 year or 2 years, it's gonna get fucked up again. The type of materials that they use are cheap.
It's good enough for the election.
Yeah, man.
Y en este momento, sadly, qué momento tan triste como se acaba.
Sí, mano, puñeto otra vez. Pero sí, ya pasaron los 10 minutos y puedo decir la palabra.
¡Say bicho!
Wow,
But now you can say it, Joe. What were you gonna... ¿Qué ibas a decir, Blanky Boy?
Papi, la capea es más
Dilo en inglés.
Dale. Voy a hacer el primer anuncio en English. Y a papi, ahí está. Papi, capea, bichuetiza, puñeta. Capea, oye, esta mesa ya se dañó porque es de madera y no tiene bichuetiza cup holder. Ya, se jodió. Ya está húmeda, así que te van a llegar los comejes en Wilton. Papi, me pueden conseguir en cualquier sitio Blanky Boy, BLANKIBOY, bitch. Ahí está.
Ahí me pueden seguir como el gran Edwin C en Instagram, en TikTok. Lo he estado diciendo, TikTok, it's such a boom. Like I've been uploading my stuff on TikTok and it's having a lot of traffic. Like I was one of those people that said, nah, I ain't gonna do TikTok. That fucking shit, that's stupid dances.
Yeah, I said that too at first.
Ahora es como que wow, diablo, está cabrón. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for
we really
coming
appreciate it,
to La Gran Tertulia. We got to know you we got to know you some more. You're a really cool guy. We wish you a lot of éxito in the island. Anything you need, we're the boys. So thank you for being here, man.
There's something you wanna talk
your socials,
anything you want to promote, something you wanna say?
Follow mipatria.pr,
yes sir,
which is the organization that helps me dearly and that I care for a lot. We raise money for people in Puerto Rico who are affected by the hurricanes that hit here.
Awesome.
Making a change is very big to me on this island. You can follow me, James Like LeBron, on Instagram and everything else under the same name. And yeah, if you're interested in the arts, follow me. I'm always casting and collaborating, so hell yeah. Thank you guys so much.
No, we appreciate you, man.
Go.
Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Eso ha sido todo hoy en la Gran Tertulia. Conversaciones interesantes
Para gente interesante como tú, bebecita.
Sapphire.